Greetings, everyone. I hope you're well. I also hope you've been enjoying following Annabelle on her journey to overcome her generalized anxiety disorder. I've enjoyed the comments that you've written in and also the questions. And one of the questions that's been written very often just recently has been centered around why so much emphasis has been placed on helping Annabelle overcome her fear of moving vehicles. Well, that's a really good question because a lot of people followed up with, after all, can't you just have her adopted by a family that lives out in the country? Well, let me get into it, and I hope you'll understand when I finish. First of all, whether you live in the country or not, I've lived in the country. Traffic is a part of life. It is. Out in the country, we had delivery people all the time. We had service people, people who'd mow the grass and come keep the forest healthy. You also have family and friends. You have a multitude of other people who don't reside in your country setting, visiting you and moving vehicles. And there's no guarantee that Annabelle will be adopted by a family that does live in the country. So overcoming the fear of moving vehicles is an absolute must for that successful adoption. The other reason, number two, is that outside of wanting companionship, the number one reason why people acquire a dog is so that they can acquire a walking, jogging, and hiking partner, or at least a reason to get out of the house. And if you're going to walk a dog, hike with a dog, jog with a dog, then more than likely you're going to come into contact with moving vehicles. And just a mere 6 weeks ago, whenever Annabelle would encounter a moving vehicle, thank goodness I was prepared. Because otherwise, I probably would have had a broken arm. I probably would have been pulled in front of one of the vehicles or had a twisted ankle. She would violently pull. I mean, everything in her body was escaping the presence of that approaching, moving vehicle. So guys, if I'm going to have someone successfully adopt her, she must overcome that because, again, that's the number one reason why people acquire a dog outside of companionship or companionship for an already resident dog that's already in the household. So I've got to get her past moving vehicles. The third reason is leash training. If you're going to walk a dog, jog with a dog, and hike with a dog, then you have to have proper leash training. And here's where that role comes in and is played. The leash work creates teamwork. Teamwork. I always said, whoever controls the leash controls the team. But let's take that one step further in Annabelle's case. Whoever controls the team also protects the team. That's right, I'm the one controlling you. I'm the one making you walk here by my left side, stopping when I stop, climbing up on a place platform, sitting when I say so. I'm the one making you do things. So therefore, at least out of the two of us, more than likely, I have more of a capability of dealing with that approaching threat, being a vehicle, than you do. So stand down, quit trying to flee, and lean on Bryan. That's social support. You know, in social support, it's not just loving a dog. Oh, good Lord, she gets tons of love and petting. But it's about supporting the dog in a social setting. I am within her group now. She's part of my pack, part of my group right here at Taming the Wild. And within that group, there are members who can provide protection and other members who will simply get behind those who can provide the protection anytime there's the presence of danger. So again, to repeat number three here, leash training is required so the dog doesn't yank you out into oncoming traffic, doesn't break your arm, so on and so forth. And in the process, you build teamwork. Teamwork. And whoever controls the leash controls the team. And whoever controls the team now is able to provide protection to the team, or at least the assumed protection on the part of Annabelle. Number four, walking provides her with predictive information. So she's learning about these cars. She's learning their behaviors. Think of it like a predatory inspection by prey animals. She's studying them. She's listening to these creatures called cars. She's starting to be able to predict their behavior. And that predictive information has now given her a semblance of control, that she can kind of control her fate. She can control what's happening. And that is incredibly important for driving down the stress response. There's been tons of studies done on humans. And when they gave humans just the illusion of control, you don't actually have control. We just provide you with the illusion of you thinking you have control. And when they checked their blood pressure, cortisol levels, they found they were in the basement. They did this after they did the same study with rats, giving them a little lever to press whenever shocks would come along. And after a period of time, sure enough, in the beginning, the lever did turn off the shocks. But over a period of time, they turned it off. But there's that rat pressing that lever anyway, pop, 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 pop. Shocks didn't go away. But you know what went down? The stress response. So even having the illusion of control will drive the stress response down, taking Annabelle from that panic level, even the distressed level, and lowering her to that aroused level where she has enhanced cognition, which then sets us up for number 5, neurogenesis. When your brain can communicate more effectively, when there's more neurotransmitters in the bloodstream, brain cell A talking to B and B talking to C and D and so on and so forth, then you're able to tap into phenotypic responses that are part of your species, ones that allow you to inspect predators, learn from them. Running takes energy. It's energy and it's risky. You could run headlong straight into danger, straight into it versus away from it. Neurogenesis is created instead of, and it drives down the hyper heads-up vigilance that is common to prey animals. And which really helps me with Annabelle, because now at least half of her forebrain is on the task of staying next to me, not pulling me, instead of hyper heads-up vigilance, looking for every darn moving vehicle in the world. And then lastly, this number 5, this neurogenesis, creating healthy brain cells, not damaged brain cells. Brain cells that have long-term potentiation with other brain cells. Sets up the learning that makes it possible to learn new things. And also, overcoming one fear sets the stage of overcoming other fears. So that's why I have placed so much emphasis on her overcoming vehicles, for all of these reasons. And now that I've done that, now that her fear is more of a concerned level, not a panic level, now that has set the stage, knowing the fact that I'm there. I'm going to provide you with social support. I control the team, therefore I protect the team. Now I can start to introduce her to unfamiliar people, especially guys. Again, we usually are bigger to some degree. Whatever it is, it's very well documented that dogs are more afraid of men-like creatures versus female-like creatures. I can start to expose her now to people because of all of these things that I've done with her up to this point will now help her lean on me. Concentrate on me. Only part of your brain on there. And at the end of the day, guys, that's what it's all about. You know, cognition can be described as nothing more than the mental transformation of all this data flowing into your brain, from your eyes, from your ears, from your sense of smell, your sense of touch, all this information from the environment flowing into your brain, and then you transforming all that information to useful knowledge about the environment. And that, as you can see in the videos, is exactly what Annabelle has done. She's transformed the information from panic to usable information that allows her to now navigate through this world with all these scary moving vehicles, learn from them, predict their behavior, look to Bryan, lean on Bryan. Now we are ready. We are now ready to proceed with introducing her to unfamiliar people. And that will be twice as easy as what we've accomplished so far. So I hope you continue to join us on this journey. Even for me, I've been doing this for 40 years. It's fascinating. It's unbelievable sometimes. So root for Annabelle and stay tuned for the next video coming up.